All right, good evening again. Welcome to DuePoint. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here. I'm going to be spending the next 50 to 60 minutes with you going through who DuePoint is, what we're all about, what this business presentation is all about. And then after the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions that you might have. Okay. And welcome to everyone who's tuned in on our live stream from around the country. And I know some people have driven out far from out of Joburg to come join us, so welcome. All right, so let's begin. As you can see, we're a division of a company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia was founded in 1952, nearly 7 decades ago, a very long time ago. That's their building in the background. They actually don't share offices with us. They're down the road here in Randburg. But they've been around for a very long time and operated very successfully in the financial service space. That's their little orange logo. The FSP number that we operate under is that one over there. That's very important. You'll notice in the foyer above the water cooler, we've got all these certificates up on the wall. Those aren't family photos. Those are FSP licenses. Very boring, but very important. We take credibility very seriously. So we've had to, through obligation of the regulation, we've put up our FSP license, our long and short-term insurance license, our investment license, and we've also got our accreditation with the Direct Marketing and the Direct Selling Association. So go take a look at those. Those are our stamp of credibility. And because we take credibility so seriously, at the same time, we trust that before you can make any decision about joining this business, that you trust the business at least. That's a fairly fundamental first step in any proposition. The senior managers and executives are these people up on stage, or up on the screen, should I say, starting from least best looking to best looking, shortest to tallest. You can see what the photographer did, starting with my boss, Brendan. He's not watching, I hope, but he is our senior executive here at DuePoint. Very lucky to have him heading up this division because he's got so much experience in financial services, particularly in insurance. His family have been involved in insurance his entire life. Him and his brother got insurance policies as children for birthday presents and Christmas presents growing up. So you have to feel a little bit sorry for them. But they've been very successful in the financial services space because his father founded Clientele Life. His father founded the IFA. They've started a host of financial service businesses around the world, had success in the space. Brendan and his brother Stuart, they followed in their father's footsteps. Both chartered accountants, got into the insurance space, and along with their dad and some other investors, started PMD, or Prime Meridian Direct, which is a very successful short-term insurer. I think they're the 4th biggest short-term insurer in the country at the moment. So we're very lucky to have Brendan heading up this division. We've got Tim and Stacey. You saw Stacey's here with us this evening. Another 2 registered chartered accountants in South Africa. They head up our auditing, the regulatory and the financial aspects of our business. Probably the most boring stuff in our business. Unfortunately for them, they wanted to become accountants. But very important business aspects. Tim is very experienced in corporate banking. He was at the First Rand Group for about 15 years in a fairly senior position there where he reported directly to the Board of Executives. Stacey worked with Deloitte all her career before she joined DuePoint. And then the 2 not so boring people, the 2 non-accountants, Jane and myself. Jane is very experienced in direct marketing, direct selling. She's actually from the UK, York more specifically. So if you ever speak to her, you'll notice she's got still her Yorkshire accent, even though she's been in South Africa for about 9-10 years. But she brings international experience with her with regards to direct marketing and direct selling, and that's very important to us because even though we're an insurance business, our growth is very much dependent on our ability to work in the network marketing space, and Jane brings that experience to our team. Myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising all my career. I ran a digital agency for about 15 years fairly successfully. And that's us. We've got client service staff that I haven't introduced you to, and some admin staff. But our mandate as staff of DuePoint is to support everyone that joins us in this endeavor. It is in our interest to see you being as effective and as profitable in this business as possible, because we can only be profitable if you're doing the same thing. And so we do everything to support you. So that's a bit of background on us and the business. We're going to touch on some negative aspects of the circumstance that we all find ourselves in, because we're all in the same we all find ourselves in the same economy, the same circumstance. So yes, let's start on the economy. So the economy plays out in a number of ways, very depressingly. High interest rates, fairly high inflation, very high food inflation. We see it in the fact that for the majority of South Africans, their salaries are not keeping up with what inflation is, with what the cost of living is. And unfortunately, what we do is we turn to debt a lot of the time to try to remedy that situation, to try to jump that gap between what your salary is and what the cost of living is. And I often ask the audience, and we're a fairly small audience because everyone thinks they're on holiday already, but Even if we have a full audience, if we've got 160 people sitting in this room, I'll ask everybody whose salary has kept up with inflation for the last 7 years. So has your salary increased by 6-7% every single year for the last 6 or 7 years? And never does anyone put their hand up, not even one. So that's even less than 1%, right? And that's a frightening overall statistics for the kind of the macroeconomic part of South Africa that we all have to face with. And we try to use debt to remedy the situation. We engage in a plethora of different debt instruments, which is not a great solution either. And we are often criticized as an economy that we engage too much in debt instruments and not enough in savings or investment products. And that gets further exacerbated because what we do is we turn a blind eye to retirement, right? The 45 years of you working is your opportunity to put together a retirement fund that will put you in a position where you have a dignified retirement. And unfortunately, only about 2-3% of our population does that. 97% of us will get to retirement and realize we haven't done enough. So to give you a snapshot of what retirement planning looks like, if you're in the position where you've saved R1 million, right, you've got R1 million sitting in investment, that R1 million will pay you out about 5,000 Rand a month from the age of 60 till the age of 90 for 30 years. And it'll eat into the capital amount. So your R1 million will run out. You have to die at 90. Right? That's the gamble that you're taking with retirement planning. Not a great prospect for 97% of us. And really what this business presentation is about moving you out of that 97% into the 3%. That is what the presentation is all about. So out of all of this negativity, we as a business saw the opportunity to create a system or a platform. We call it the DuePoint system. It was launched last year in February, giving the average South African an opportunity to engage with a business where they get to change the circumstance. We've got 3 aspirations in mind for the people that join this business. And you can align yourself with the aspirations or not. These are just things we wish for you. One is for you to become debt-free. Right? The first thing you've got to focus on, because really what we're going to be talking about is about creating wealth. But can you create wealth if you owe other people money? Right? No, you cannot. That goes without saying. And so our foremost ambition in this business is to become debt-free completely. And I get a little giddy even thinking about being debt-free, right? Imagine when your salary gets paid into your account and DuePoint pays a return into your account and there are no debit orders. Has anyone ever imagined life without a debit order? It is possible. It is possible, right? And that's our first aspiration in this business. Because what that does is it sets you up, it empowers you now to start creating wealth. Because now the money that goes into your account stays in your account. And now you have the freedom of empowering yourself from a financial point of view. And that is creating value in assets that you have ownership over. It's about investing. And if those 2 aspirations come together, then third aspiration happens all on its own, and that's just to be happier at the end of the month. Right? That's why we're here, really, to be happier. Brendan often jokes. He says, money isn't everything, but unfortunately it's about 95% of everything, right? So we want to try to take care of that 95%. The rest of your 5% problems are your problems, right? I won't help you with those. All right, so that's what the presentation's all about. Our guests here this evening, you've got the opportunity to join DuePoint. Once you contract with us, because that's what you do, you contract with us, we refer to you as wealth engineers, and as wealth engineers, we expect only one thing of you, and that is for you to go out and build channels of distribution. That's the single most thing you need to do, the only thing you need to do. And through these channels of distribution which you build, which is really you introducing people to DuePoint, our online platform will facilitate the sale of products to those people. And that's as basically as this business works. The benefit for you is that you get to create additional income. But the nature of the income that you produce here is one of recurring income. Now, this is very important. Some people refer to this as passive income. I fondly refer to my father's term of making money while you're sleeping. Right? Isn't that a great prospect? Right? Great ambitions. Make money while you're sleeping and no debit orders coming off your bank account ever. Right? You can just go to heaven right there and then. But that's actually something that's inherent to insurance companies. We create recurring income in a business like this, and you get to partake in that upside. We harness the power of duplication. Now, this is leverage. This is something that we don't get to do as an employee, right? Our bosses are leveraging us, okay? Building these channels of distribution are your opportunity to go out and find like-minded individuals that will end up collaborating with you in building your channel of distribution. And when they do that, what you're actually doing is you're leveraging their time, right? because you actually get the benefit of their collaboration. So, for example, if you only have an hour to commit to this business a day, but you go find 20 other like-minded individuals like you, spending the same amount of time, sacrificing into DuePoint, now you've got potentially 21 hours being invested every single day into your channel of distribution, in turn increasing your recurring income. The business is flexi time. Now, you might see this as a luxury, but it's actually a bit of a trick benefit, right? Because I say flexi time, and I'll say to you, yes, you have the luxury of deciding when to do this business, what that looks like. Is it something you do every day? Is it something you only do on the weekends? Is it in the evenings, in the mornings? You get to choose what that looks like. But at the same time, never make the mistake of coming to and I only say this because I see so many people doing it. They come into the business and they treat it like a New Year's resolution. Right? You get excited, very easy to get excited. Anyone can get excited. But no one follows through with the excitement. There's no accountability to the commitment required to be successful in this business. And so I warn you now, it says flexi time, and you can decide what it looks like for you, but from today, you decide what it looks like and keep yourself accountable to being regularly engaged with this business. My point is, you've got to do it when you don't feel like it. Right? New Year's resolutions, we do it when we feel like it, and that lasts about a week. Okay? It's really about work ethic. No startup capital, there's no registration fees in this business, so we make the business as risk-free as possible. There's no boxes of product you have to invest or buy in to get started. There's no qualifications or experience required. I often joke, I ask people if they've left their CVs on the counter with Stacy. Everyone goes, I didn't bring my CV today. It's okay, I don't mind if you didn't bring your CV. I don't really care about your CV. What I care about is your work ethic. At the same time, you don't have to worry about FSB regulation. So we actually contract you out of any of that obligation. You can enjoy the upside of partaking in financial services without any of the worry of all that regulation that we face. And it's onerous. Go ask Stacey and Tim. You get to build an asset. Now, that's probably one of the most important benefits on this slide. For me, it's certainly the most important benefit, because I'm going to ask you, like I've asked you around the flexi time benefit, I'm going to ask you to sacrifice time to be successful in this business. It's really the antithesis of employment, because what we do in employment is we work for somebody else for 40 to 45 years. We really sacrifice our lives working for somebody else, building up someone else's asset. And we really never get to partake in the upside of that business that we work for. There's only a few. Maybe the executives and very senior management get to partake in the upside. You don't get a dividend check. You don't have shareholdings, right? Your salary doesn't suddenly jump when the company does well. But on the other side of it, we have to partake in the downside of the business. Because if the business does badly, then we get told, sorry, there are no raises at the end of the financial year. We get told, no, the company's going through retrenchment. Right? In this business, know that the time that you're sacrificing into building these channels of distribution, you have legal tender over this channel of distribution. You own it, so you can sell it one day. It has intrinsic value that you can pass on to your children. You can seed to your beneficiaries. It is something that will survive you. Right? So instead of passing debt onto your children, hopefully you're going to pass value and wealth onto your children. So it's treated as an asset. There's no selling involved. So again, with regards to the FSB regulation, we actually contract you out of any selling. So, and I think most people find that as a benefit, because I think people are generally terrified of trying to sell something to somebody. So you don't have to do that. All you're going to be doing is going out and telling people about the business opportunity. You don't have to convince them of anything. Financial opportunity currently in South Africa's economy is probably the foremost commodity available to South Africans. People are interested in financial opportunity, right? So you're only going to be exposing them to the business opportunity. The nature of our products are financial in nature. It means we don't have all the stock and distribution issues that tangible products have. Like I said, we don't have boxes of product. You didn't see milkshakes or vitamins in the foyer. You didn't have to bring your uncle's bucky to load up product. You don't have to make space in your garage. Our products don't expire or start to smell funny when you forget about them for 3 months. Right? So we make the product as convenient as possible, and the business generally as convenient as possible for people to engage in. But your success is definitely predicated on your ability to go out and build these channels of distribution that I keep referring to. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. It begins with you. You are a wealth engineer, the captain at the helm of his ship, and you're going to go out and hopefully find resourceful, like-minded people to bring into this business, to collaborate with you. Right? If you are successful in that activity, and you can find a few people that join DuePoint, they become wealth engineers, they take out one of our products, that's the beginning of your channel of distribution. These individuals are going to do exactly the same thing that you do They also want to change their circumstance. They want to empower themselves, right? And they go out and do exactly the same thing, except for that lazy sod over there stayed on the couch, right? That's the person I keep referring to whenever I warn you about hard work in the business. But what happens after time is that you have this organic growth that takes place in your channel beyond your early efforts. This is where the power of duplication comes in. This is what we call leverage, because you're earning a return for every single product that you see on the page in a recurring fashion. You're getting paid every single month for every dot that you see on the screen. And in a month's time, there'll be a few more dots. And my hope is that you'll go out and be very mindful of the people that you bring into your business, because the quality of individual that you bring in at the beginning is going to filter through your entire channel. If you go out and behave desperately, I keep getting asked, we want to put up a banner to put on the street so people will know it's DuePoint when we go out prospecting. I'm like, no. We don't do that. We don't go look for just people in the street. You've got to go out and build. I call it your board of executives, your board of directors. Go out and find the people that you want, because this quality will filter through to the rest of your channel. My hope is that you'll build a sustainable, a quality channel, so that in the next 3 to 5 years or whatever it is, that you've got this channel that makes money while you're sleeping. You don't have to constantly oversee it for it to produce income for you. And then maybe you'll be in the position where you can take a 3-month holiday with your family and not worry about your income, because DuePoint will be paying you every single month. Right? What happens in employment when you try to ask for 3 months leave? The boss prints out a resignation letter for you. Right? Says you sign there, you can have as much leave as you want. We get 15 days. 15 days. Who can live on 15 days leave a year? Right? We want you to have more. So that's what a channel of distribution looks like. That's what we're going to be focused on constantly in this business, is building that. But I need to warn you, and this is only for the people that come in thinking that we a get-rich-quick scheme. Right? So there's 2 things. One, they think we're illegal. So let me remind you, we're a 70-year-old insurance business that is regulated by the Financial Services Board. We are not a get-rich-quick scheme or a pyramid scheme or any scheme of any sort. We probably work in the most onerous regulated industry in the country. So we wouldn't align ourselves with anything that smells like that. At the same time, people think that you can be successful easily. Right? That's what a pyramid scheme does to you. I remember when I was in my 20s, I got introduced to a pyramid scheme. One of my friends said, you just put 5,000 Rand in here, next week it turns into 10,000 Rand. Wow, that's really making money while you're sleeping, right? Fortunately, I didn't get involved in it, and a couple of people I knew lost money. They lost it. Went from 5,000 Rand to 0, and they couldn't find anyone, right? No one. Then everyone's like, oh, I'm not involved. I don't know who introduced you to it. We're not one of those businesses, and Brendan and I will never promise you success easily in this business. This is like any business, like any aspect of life. To be successful at something, it requires hard work. It requires work ethic. So if you're willing to partake in that downside, because it's downside, right? You've got to sacrifice time. Time you could be relaxing, spending with family. You've got to put up with people. We're a people business. People typically let you down a lot. Especially, this is a volunteer business. I would love to write written warnings to a lot of wealth engineers. But I can't. It's a volunteer business. I've got to be nice to everybody, right? The same for you. If you're willing to partake in that downside, you get to look forward to working towards the upside of entrepreneurship. Okay, so that's our warning slide. Let's talk about how you earn money here at DuePoint. So there's 2 ways to earn. One is through our returns program. The second way is through our rewards program. So I'm going to start with the returns program. The returns program is what we pay people at the end of every month, right? It's based on how many products you've got in your qualified channel. So we pay 27.50 Rand for every product that you have in your channel, but it's actually dependent on where that product lies. So remember the first 5 people you introduced? These people lie on your first point. They are 1 point away from you. And you can see on the table here, we pay double the 27.50 Rand. So you actually end up getting paid 55 Rand for every product on your first point every month. Remember, it's recurring income. Then those people went out and they found other people to become wealth engineers who took out product, and that product lies on your second point. And on your second point, again, we pay you 55 Rand. And then on the third point, you see the multiplier starts to drop. And starts to drop further and further, the further the product gets away from you. Right? All the way to the 8th point, it's at 4%. But what's important to note is that we don't limit you at point 8. So from point 8 onwards, we will keep paying you the 4% of the 27.50. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We don't limit you on how much money you can earn at DuePoint. The accountability always lies with you. So this is the mechanics of the returns. fairly straightforward. The next question we often get is, well, how much can someone earn in this business? Give me an idea. Beyond the 55 Rand, what am I likely to earn as a return? So we built this projection over the next 5 years. We call it the path to success. Someone in marketing came up with that. And it is dependent on a growth formula. The growth formula is called 3 plus 2. So the 3 plus 2 represents your first month. It assumes in your first month you can bring 3 people onto your first point. And every consecutive month thereafter you bring in another 2. Right? So we're kind of near the beginning of December. You've got the whole of December to find your first 3 people. Right? So that's the 3, and then the 2 is every consecutive month. So in January you're going to find another 2, February another 2, March another 2, into perpetuity. You're going to keep finding another 2 people to bring onto your first point. If you can follow that growth formula, after 6 months you'll be earning about a whopping 2,500 Rand a month. How's that? No one's walked out at this stage. I'm still waiting for someone to go, oh, that's not enough, I'm leaving. Right? Those are the people hoping it was a get-rich-quick scheme. 2,500 Rand after 6 months. Okay, let me give you some context to this, because what I've realized over time is that I unfortunately make the mistake of constantly thinking like a consumer, like a spender. I look at the value of money in terms of spending power, right? Not in terms of investing power or paying my debt off power or any of that type of power. I see the money, I know what I can buy with it, right? We are constantly bombarded by marketing. What else can we do but be consumers? But I'm going to hopefully offer you some information that will create this paradigm shift, because I want you to stop thinking like consumers. So I'm going to say to you, here's 2,500 Rand after 6 months. And you'll think, well, that's probably about 4 bags at Checkers, right? But if we look at this money in terms of future value, we look at it very differently. So here's someone with a 1 million Rand bond, right? So a 1 million Rand bond, they had to go to the bank because they didn't have the money. The bank offered them the 1 million Rand. They said, yeah, sign a bond contract for the next 20 years. You're going to pay us based on the current interest rates plus prime 1 or 2, typically what we get, right? I don't think anyone gets prime nowadays. You're going to be paying back about 11,500 Rand a month for the next 20 years. So I'm 40 today. If I engage in this bond, I'll make my final payment at the age of 60, just in time for retirement, right? You don't want to be paying a house off when you're retired. So I get there just in the nick of time. But I joined DuePoint 6 months later with some success. I'm earning 2,500 Rand, and I listened to Rob. He told me, aspiration number 1, pay your debt off quicker. So I decided to put the 2,500 Rand into my 1 million Rand bond as an additional payment. What happens? The net effect of that is that I get to pay this house off in nearly half the time. I don't have to wait until I'm 60. I can pay it off at the age of 51. So that saves me nearly 1 million Rand in repayments back to the bank. 1 million Rand of hard currency, right? It allows me the next 8.5 years to now take that 14,000 Rand that I'm not paying into the bond anymore. I can now start investing that into my retirement fund. At 12 months, I'm at 100,000 Rand in annual recurring income. Who would like a 100,000 Rand check every Christmas? Whew, wouldn't that be nice? There's always 2 people that want it. The rest of you are like, eh. Don't worry, we'll get to bigger numbers. 24 months, we're nearly at 30,000 Rand a month. See how quickly that jumped? Unfortunately, the majority of wealth engineers give up after month 3. Why? Right? Poor work ethic? I'm not sure. You keep going. After 36 months, 50,000 Rand a month. You want to see the bond example? Here's someone with a 5 million Rand bond. 30-month mark, you're earning about 36,000 Rand a month. Your choice here is always, do you put the money into your bond and pay the bond off faster? Extra 36,000 Rand. Or do you buy a brand new Porsche 911? The Porsche, right? Am I the only one that would go with the Porsche? Is this a room full of accountants? Right? That's the decision. It might be other things, but that's always the decision that we're making at the end of every month. If you put that 36,000 Rand into the 5 million Rand bond, you'll pay that house off in less than 7 years. So I'll pay it off just before I'm 47. Right? So I've paid my debt off now as quickly as possible. Now I get to create wealth. So I buy a second house. The second house is now an investment. I pay that off at the age of 54. I buy a third house and pay that off by the age of 61. I now am retired, but I'm getting passive income from rental properties, probably 60,000, 70,000 Rand a month, plus what DuePoint's paying me in 21 years' time. We have to make the decision 21 years before we get to enjoy the fruits of it. You've got to wait 21 years before you can buy that Porsche. My friends will only realize I'm successful once I'm retired. I've got to put off that feeling to feel successful at the age of 40, right? And keep going. After 48 months, we're close to 70,000 Rand a month. After 60 months, 5 years, about R1 million in annual recurring income. Who wants R1 million check just before Christmas every year? Sure. That'll be a good Christmas, huh? R1 million extra at the end of the year. But this is all academic. This is based on this 3+2 theory. It's a theory. Like I said, majority of us will give up after month 3 for some other reason that we've given ourselves. But there's lots of wealth engineers that do more than 3+2 because it's purely an example. You can do more than 3+2. You want to get to 2,500 Rand faster than 6 months? Guess who makes that decision? And so we've got wealth engineers that we love to showcase. Every month we invite a host of wealth engineers up onto stage that tell us their stories, their experience of being wealth engineers. Some are slower than 3+2, but they show the persistency of not giving up, right? Again, the value of money. They had nearly 5,000 Rand a month after, let's say, nearly a year and a half. So some of us might look back and go, oh, 2,500 Rand after 6 months, that was nothing really to work hard for. But let me give you context again, because you need 1 million Rand in the bank to pay out 5,000 Rand a month. To give you context again, that would take you 40 years to save up if you put 800 Rand a month into a savings, into an investment every single month. For 40 years. Without, you get retrenched, you still got to pay that 800 Rand a month. It has to go up with inflation every year. And then you'll be in a position where you're earning that. Nick and Shani, right, they were slower than 3+2, but they have the equivalent of nearly R1 million sitting in a bank account. Jack DeLama from Mpumalanga joined in January. He's at just over 8,000 Rand a month. Don Landon from PE joined in December. We looked at his business. He didn't do anything for the first 4 months, 5 months. He only started earning in June. He went from like 300 and something Rand to nearly 4,000 Rand in a single month. You need to look at that business a little more closely because that's a crazy jump, right? At over 11,000 already. Motla Letsona from Free State, she joined in April. She's at over 11,000 already. We checked her business last week. She's close to 25,000 Rand a month. Who doubles their business in a month? Right? We beg for 5-6% a year. You can do it in a day here. But her efforts aren't solely based on her efforts, or should I say her success is not based solely on her efforts. It's been a collaboration with the people that she's brought into the business. Right? So you might see she's successful, but if you look at the people she's introduced, I bet there's a whole bunch of other people that are looking very successful too. That's why. Be very mindful of the people that you bring into this business. We've got thousands of people joining this business every single month. They're running their own races. Right? Everybody is different. You need to decide what you want out of the business. Don't look at your neighbor. Right? Decide what you want out of the business and strategize. Design your own plan to get there. But this is our returns program. This is what we pay wealth engineers at the end of every single month. I told you there was a second way to earn, and that is through our rewards program. So our XP rewards program, it works like this. You're going to become a brand new wealth engineer, and you're going to start engaging in typical wealth engineer activities. Right? These are all the activities. There's about 20 of them. But it's things like logging into the dashboard, coming to intro presentations, bringing guests with you, coming to training, all these kind of things. When you do these typical activities, you earn something called XP. It stands for experience points. It's got no monetary value. You can't swap it for Bitcoin. You can't swap it for dollars. Only an indicator of how active you are as wealth engineers, right? But when you start collecting more and more XP and your channel starts to grow, you rank up in our rewards program and we reward you along the way. So if you join this evening, you start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer, right? You're not even on the slide yet. So you can see you're not important. But the moment you have 1,000 XP, you've got 4 products in your qualified channel, you suddenly become rank 1 and we give you a once-off 55 Rand reward at the end of the month. Once-off, not recurring, just a once-off, right? And then as you start to rank up, you see the rewards get bigger and better. There's 20,000 Rand, 50,000 Rand. There are tools that we give our wealth engineers to help them be more effective at building these channels of distribution. So at rank 5, we give all our wealth engineers this fancy little USB drive. It plugs into anything. Phones, tablets, laptops, computers, TVs, Apple, Android, Banana. All our videos are on there. So Patrick and Pumi can show people the DuePoint opportunity regardless of what device they have around them, right? At rank 7, we get these premium luxury business cards. I say luxury, you have to go feel one of these things. I don't know, any of the rank 7s here tonight? There's some in the merchandise cabinet there. These business cards cost us 12,500 Rand a set. They are magnificent. Right? They are 4 times thicker than any other card. The black paper feels like suede. There's no ink on this business card. The logo, the edges are gilded in gold. Gold. Not fake gold, real gold. Why would we go to such an extent for business cards? Because this business requires or depends on first impressions, right? On credibility. Because if you go up to somebody and you propose a business opportunity called DuePoint, they've probably never heard of us. But when you put a 12,500 Rand business card down on the table, suddenly they take notice and your credibility lifts and they're willing to give you a few more minutes to explain how on earth you got a business card like that and what DuePoint does, right? At rank 9, we take our wealth engineers and their families on our rank 9 international conference. It's business class flights to a 5-star luxury resort for 7 days, all expenses paid trip, not once, every single year for the rest of your life. There we go. You have 13 months to get there because we're going in the next couple of weeks and you aren't coming with us. Not this time anyway, right? But in the next 13 months, hopefully you're going to do enough to come with us on the 2018 International Conference. There's no time limit on this. You can take as long as you want. It's not going to disappear. It is your opportunity to get to rank 9. If you can get to rank 1, you can get to rank 9. The activity is exactly the same at 1 as it is at 9 or 20. It's about talking to people, nothing else. Rank 11. Oh, sorry, the video. Take a look, just to make you a little more jealous. We're going to show you a video of where we're going. So have a look. It's the actual resort that we're going to in the next couple of weeks.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Thanks, Ruthie. Looks great, right? I showed my daughter the gallery of the hotel. She's like, Daddy, that's a very big swimming pool. Swimming pool looked great, didn't it? So we've got a host of families that have already qualified for our first Rank 9 trip. So it is really up to you. The record's 5 months. So I'm sure 13 months is more than enough time for you guys to qualify for the next trip. At Rank 11, we spend R250,000 on a brand new car and present it to our wealth engineers. No debit order for you at the end of the month. So this is our rewards program, right? We've stopped at rank 11, but you saw it went up to rank 20. We've designed it up to rank 28. Next 20, 30 years mapped out for wealth engineers in this business. We don't plan for next year only. We're already planning for the next decade in this business. When do we start? There's a third way to benefit as a wealth engineer, and that's through our Wealth Quest. So that little pink WQ you see on the left there. A Wealth Quest is a challenge that we issue our wealth engineers every single month. Every single month it's different. December's is called Outshine Santa, where we challenge our wealth engineers to bring 6 new wealth engineers onto their first point, and to support those 6, and hopefully 2 of them will qualify. And if that happens and everyone's payments happen successfully in the month of December, we will give you a 4G router plus 100 gigs of data for the next 365 days. All your data requirements taken care of until you become rank 9, hopefully. Right? So that's our Wealth Quest this month. Like I said, different one every single month. So on the 1st of January, you'll see the new one will come up. We get asked, how does DuePoint afford all of these things? So our business doesn't work like traditional insurance companies. They spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising on a daily basis to acquire clients. DuePoint doesn't do any marketing or advertising. So you won't see a DuePoint logo outside of our building. We rely on our wealth engineers to go out and tell people about DuePoint. And so we don't have to spend the billions that the insurance industry typically spends annually on marketing and advertising. We can take that portion of our payment and attribute it to the returns and rewards program for your benefit, for the benefit of our wealth engineers. And that's typically how our business model works. We've got 3 products at DuePoint, so you can consider taking out one or all 3 products. It's completely up to you. The products have benefits that are all financial in nature, so they speak to the issues that we have from a financial perspective. Access Wealth Plan is an investment product. It is 299 Rand a month, and it's actually broken up into 2 further products. So first of all, 100 Rand will get invested into a tax-free investment fund. The fund sits with Sanlam. It is administrated by fund administrators. There's separate fund managers, but typically the money goes into a Sanlam investment, and that's tax-free. It's also a no-notice investment, so it's fairly flexible. You can draw that investment out at any stage. You don't have to give us 30 days notice or 60 days notice like some of these investments. And then you get a little bit of insurance with it. You get 110,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover. So for example, you have this product, you're killed in a car accident, for example. Not only do we pay you out what's in your investment, but we also pay you out the 110,000 Rands worth of insurance. So that's the Access Wealth Plan. Then we have Wealth Guard. So this is purely insurance. So it's strictly insurance. It's 274 Rand a month, but this time you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. Right? So the beauty of this product is that it becomes accessible to everybody, because the premium remains the same regardless of your health status. So we don't send a nurse to come do bloods. You don't have to fill out these lengthy forms about your medical history. We can offer this product to you regardless of your age. As long as you're over the age of 18, you can be 80, you can be diabetic. The premium remains the same. The amount of cover that you receive remains the same. So that's our Wealth Guard product. And then the third product is the Wealth Points Buyers Club. So this product aims to save us money that we spend every month anyway. So if you look at the list of partners that we have there, I bet you spend money at least one of them. Right? So through this product, it's 274 Rand a month. You get to enjoy the discounts that we've negotiated with these companies. And we've got a host of them. We've got data suppliers. You get a gig for 36 Rand from Always On. ShopRite Checkers is 2.5% off there. A few other retailers. We've got Eagle Ford there. We've sold cars through Eagle Ford already. We're always adding partners to this program. So if you're looking for immediate benefit, this is a great product to have. So those are the 3 products. We've built them to be straightforward in nature, but if you have any questions around them, come speak to me. We've got more information on the website and very in-depth reviews on YouTube if you want to go watch a short video on each of the products. What is the decision? So very basically, I pretty much sum up the decision being, are you willing to partake in the downside of this business to enjoy the upside? Simple as that, isn't it? Right? Everyone's here for a reason. I assume you're all here to make more money. But perhaps some of us have made the mistake. I think it's a get-rich-quick scheme. We only have to put money in and it doubles next week magically. Right? There is work ethic required in this business. Unlike pyramid schemes, but like everything else in life. So that's what you've got to do. Keep yourself accountable to doing this business when you don't feel like it. Don Landon also summed it up very nicely. He said this business is so simple. You know, Rob jokes. He said you've got to bring a CV. You don't need a CV. He doesn't care about your past. We've got wealth engineers with matric, some without matric, some with corporate experience, some with no corporate experience, some with degrees, no degrees. It doesn't matter. You only need the ability to go out and speak to people. But Don said, if you're not speaking to someone every day, you're not doing this business. Then you're doing nothing, right? I think some people, I don't know, when I joined this business, I've never been involved in network marketing, ever. This is the first time ever. And before, there was always the stigma for me. But before, well, up until now, the stigma's disappeared. I've become normalized to it, I think. But I think for some people, the stigma still exists. DuePoint, I don't see DuePoint as this business that is romanticized in a way that it's your opportunity and you're just going to live DuePoint. I always see DuePoint as a stepping stone to what you want to do in life. Right? We don't have other opportunity in this economy. I was reading biography on Prince, you know, the singer who died. He's died recently, huh? He passed away, yeah. Do you know that the guy worked as a janitor in exchange for studio time? That's how he started out. So you can compare DuePoint to being a janitor. And whatever dream you have, that is the ultimate end. But let DuePoint be that opportunity that allows you to get there. Because what other opportunity exists in our economy at the moment? But it requires the work. Getting started. So joining is very straightforward. Read our code of conduct. It's our contract with you that defines what you can and cannot do as a wealth engineer. Register as a wealth engineer, so you can do that on someone's cell phone. The person that invited you here, they can do it on their cell phone, or you can jump onto our website, www.dewpoint.net. Takes about 7 minutes to go through the application. And then start applying yourself to this business. Get stuck in. Find out what it's all about, right? There's a little more learning involved in this business. So we've got about 500 videos on YouTube, of which only 7 make up the basic series. So you only have to watch the 7, and you'll have a good understanding of what's required in the business. Go look at that. Then set goals for yourself. Goals are so important in this business. It allows you to keep track of how you're running in this race, right? Strategize. Set up a plan. And we've got training that helps you do that. And then the basic activity of going out and speaking to people. As simple as that. We've got merchandise. This is not set up as a profit center for us. We set this up in the hope that it would help you build your businesses a little more effectively and faster. Please consider getting business cards. So we received the final orders for business cards today for this year. So if you order business cards, you'll get them probably early January. But please consider getting business cards. Like I said, this business very much relies on first impressions and credibility. You can't go out proposing the best business proposition ever and then tear off a scrap piece of paper off your diary to write your name and number on. Right? Your credibility just falls to the floor. Take it from me. Get business cards, right? You pay for the white ones up front, and then when you get to rank 7, I'll pay for the fancy black ones. Is that a deal? Right? USB sticks. If you're data shy, get the USB sticks. All our videos are on there. You can plug them into TVs nowadays. Use the USB sticks. The pins represent people earning in our business. Right? Rank 1 and up only get to wear those pins. When you become rank 1, buy one of the pins. It tells people that you know what you're doing. It tells the people that are collaborating with you, well done. Our lead wealth engineer is working this business. Don't go ask advice from someone who doesn't have a pin, because they're still part of our 0+0 club. Right? They're not on the slide yet. Power banks, because your phones are very important tools in business. So don't let your phone die. And then we've got a host of other merchandise on display in the cabinet. Pricing's on the counter. Credit card machine is waiting and warm for you. Once you become wealth engineer, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every time we load up a new video, it'll tell you. Every time we start up a live stream, it'll tell you. Download the mobile app. The mobile app is fantastic. So download it the moment you become wealth engineers. Update your profile photo. We give you 1,000 XP the moment that's done. That app will tell you if you're making money while you're sleeping, because you wake up in the morning, it'll tell you if your recurring income's gone up or not. Right? So get the app. It's an awesome tool. Some don'ts. So I'm going to go over these very quickly because you're not going to read your code of conduct. You cannot become a wealth engineer if you don't have the resources to become a wealth engineer. Right? There are some costs required in this business, but like I said, we've kept this business as low risk as possible. We're not asking you to buy product, tons of product, boxes of product, put 5,000 Rand here. Minimal risk in this business, but there's still people who can't afford it. Those people should not become wealth engineers. The business is not targeted at empowering those people. We are targeted at empowering people that have the resources to thrive in this business. People who don't have access to internet, it's going to be almost impossible to do this business if you don't have access to internet. It's probably one of the few investments you're going to make is going to be in data. If you struggle with transport, again, you're going to struggle because it requires prospecting, going to people's houses, speaking to people, meeting your team, wherever it is, right? You need access to transport. Don't ever complete a DuePoint application form and be on behalf of somebody else. This is actually fraudulent. It's illegal, so you cannot do it. I know there's a lot of people that do it, right? The gogos that don't have email addresses and they don't know how you use the internet, you say, just write your details down here, I'll fill it out for you later tonight. Can't do that, right? Don't let anyone in your channel do it, please. Don't add direct family members who are in the same household as you in your channel. We call it an anti-stacking rule. So if anyone lives in the same household as you, they cannot be in your channel. If they've left home, if you've got children that have left home and started their own families or brothers and sisters, that's fine. They're in different households. They can be in your channel. Don't start your own DuePoint Facebook page. Again, this is actually in contravention of our code of conduct. You're actually breaking phase FSB regulation. Right? You can be in very big trouble. We get into trouble. So we've got a company that is contracted purely just to find people doing any publishing of any sorts on Facebook or Twitter. And then we suspend you immediately. And then your credibility will really drop when you try to sign someone up and a big warning comes up on the screen saying you've been suspended. Right? So don't let that happen to you. So just don't do anything on Facebook. Very simple. And then don't send leads or prospects to DuePoint unattended. This just speaks to you about your responsibility around the people that you're prospecting. Look after the people that you're bringing into this business. Like I say, you're building your board of directors, your board of executives. You never know the person that you're bringing in what they could do for your business. I promise you now, you can't predict it. Take care of everyone, treat them with respect, treat them professionally. We've got Happy New Year on the 4th of January. So our first presentations in the new year are actually on the 4th of January. We've got one at lunchtime at 12:15, and then we've got a very special one at 6:30 in the evening, because this is when all the rank 9s come back from the beach. They're still going to have sand in their toes and their Bermudas on, the towel's still going to be wet. They're going to come tell us about this rank 9 experience that they had, that a lot of us aspire to. So you're going to hear it from their mouths that evening. So if you have any prospects that you find over Christmas and New Year, try and get them to this intro presentation. It's going to be special. And then on this, the 10th of February next year, we've got our inaugural awards evening. It's called Converge, and it's by invitation only, and to rank 4s and up only. So it should be your motivation to get to rank 4 as quickly as possible. Before the end of January, get to rank 4, you'll get invited to this very special evening. Folks, I remind you, there's only one person who can design their futures. One. You've got to design your future and grab it with both hands, right? If you have the work ethic to do so, there is success waiting for you. It is not waiting for you at your day job, unfortunately. You've got to do this extra thing, right? You've got to sacrifice time to do this. But I tell you, it's going to be well worth it if you get stuck in. So good luck. Thank you.